Hey friends, my name is Jackson. I'm not your average NP, and welcome back to my channel. It is day 2 of the top 10 list for 10 days for my 10-year anniversary. And today we are doing the top 10 movies that I've seen so far in 2024. 2024 is like almost over. It's so close to being over. There is less than 2 months left. I can't believe how quickly it went by. Like, it seems like things are moving along so fast. And I don't know. I just turned 30, and it's kind of insane to think that I don't know. I feel like I turned 30, and then all of a sudden, with the snap of my fingers, it's now November. It's so weird to think about. But anyway, I'm gonna start going off the list now. And keep in mind, these are in no particular order. I'm not planning on putting them in order because that would take more work that I really can't afford to do right now if I'm gonna get this stuff out on time. I might make other top 10 lists or like remake these top 10 lists later. But also, I want to let you guys know I am planning to do in January a top 12 best movies I've seen in 2024 and also top 10 worst movies I've seen in 2024. Number 10, Inside Out 2. So, in case you guys don't know what Inside Out is, it's basically about a bunch of emotions living inside this girl's head. And at the end of the movie, they put in this big red puberty button, and of course that would lead to an amazing sequel because they gave the perfect segue for a sequel. Like, with so many movies now, they literally just put like a little part at the end to give the perfect segue into a sequel. It's insane. So they gave this amazing segue into a sequel, and the sequel is everything that I hoped it would be. I saw this for my birthday. As I said, it was in July. And funny story, because my mom was actually away for the entire month of July. But she came home and we had like, I think like maybe 2 days together before she left for another week to go see my grandpa. But in those two, but in one of those 2 days, we went and saw it together because it came out at the end of June, or no, in the middle of June. It came out in the middle of June, and it was still out in August because it was such a huge freaking deal. And by the way, I made a huge mistake because the day this movie came out, literally the day this movie came out, I had my own movie planned. It was not Inside Out 2. I knew that was going to be insane. It was something else, something completely different. But I made the mistake of going to the theater on the day that this movie came out, and holy crap, there were so many people there. But I saw this movie like 3 or 4 times. Actually, that's probably not even accurate. It was probably closer to 5 or 6. But holy crap, it was amazing. And I'm so glad I got to see it with my mom because we couldn't make it work in June. But we didn't want to go on a weekend because it was gonna be, really busy because it's this huge Disney movie that just came out. It's this huge Disney property. And anytime something like that happens, everyone's clamoring to see it. So we couldn't go on a weekend because it was going to be packed. And we didn't really want to, and we couldn't make it work for during the week because my mom still had work. She was still teaching. And then in July, I saw it by myself. Like, I went and saw it for my birthday. Me and my mom actually saw 2 other movies for my birthday before she left for vacation. Like, but we didn't choose anything that was like, crazy like Inside Out 2. But this okay, so anyway, moving on from my birthday and talking about the actual movie because it introduces a few new emotions like anxiety, ennui, embarrassment, stuff like that. And it's pretty awesome. And my favorite is this little old lady emotion named Nostalgia, and she's the sweetest. And then there's this joke in the movie where like Nostalgia keeps coming by to say, "Oh, remember that time this happened?" And Joy's like, "It's okay, Nostalgia. We don't need you for like another 10 years." And then Nostalgia goes back and she's like, "Okay, see you later." She's the best. Anyway, I love her. And yeah, so It has an amazing plot. Spoiler alert in like 2 seconds in case you haven't seen it yet. But essentially, the movie starts with Joy trying to get rid of all these bad memories that Riley has. She has this like thing that shoots them to the very back of her mind where they never have to worry about them. And I was like, okay, well, obviously that's going to come up later. Obviously the lesson is going to be that you can't just take away the bad memories. But and the other part of the movie that's really important is Riley's core personality and all the memories that make it up, and her her person and her core beliefs. That's what I meant to say, her core beliefs. It's like a belief system and then it goes to her core beliefs. And the other thing I want to say about this movie that's so cute is that Joy has learned a lot from the first movie. The whole point was that Joy didn't like sadness that much, but by the end of the movie, she realizes how important sadness is, and sadness basically saves Riley from making a huge mistake. So, yeah, she saves her, and then Joy realizes how much sadness is actually useful. And in this movie, Joy and sadness are basically like joined at the hip. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. And now we should probably move on to the next one because this segment's getting a little long. Number 9, Crap. So this is a horror movie that I saw that's really awesome that I love. And it's I think it's like Blumhouse or maybe M. Night Shyamalan. No, not M. Night Shyamalan. I don't think it's M. Night Shyamalan. No, The Watchers was M. Night Shyamalan. But anyway, it's pretty awesome and essentially it's about this guy who gets stuck at this concert, but the guy is actually a serial killer. And essentially, he's stuck at a concert that is actually, it's not even a real concert. Like, the singer is there, and it's just stuck. It's just supposed to be a trap for this particular killer that they're looking for, because he's become kind of a big deal. So the cops are looking for him, and this place is armed to the teeth with security, and most of the movie is just about this guy being stuck in what he knows is a trap set for him, trying to get away. And also, he has a daughter. I want to say that not just his daughter. He has a family. Like, he has a daughter and a son. He's at the concert just with his daughter, but we meet the rest of the family later. And then and he's got a wife and a son and a daughter. And yeah, it's insanity. Like, it's crazy to think that and it's crazy because this is literally something that could actually happen, which are the kinds of movies that freak me out the most, to be quite honest. That and ones that involve demons, because holy crap, that's terrifying. But yeah, basically, most of the movie is spent him trying to get away, and there's like the third act that happens back at his house, and it's pretty nuts. There's like some insane shit in it. I don't really want to give away a lot of spoilers. I mean, I I would have said spoilers before I started talking about the fact that he's the serial killer, but they literally gave that part away in the trailer. Like, that was kind of the whole point of the trailer. It just bothers me when trailers are like, "I'm gonna give the best parts of the movie away," and then, when the movie comes out, they act like it's this big secret that wasn't known. Like, "Oh my god, he's actually the killer? Wow, I didn't see that coming," except I did because I saw the frickin' trailer. Number 8, Substance. I'm just gonna say it. If it wasn't for The Menu, this would be my number 1 horror movie. But The Menu exists, therefore this is my second favorite. But I'm not gonna act like it's not close. I am very much about horror movies that do something different than just the whole, there's a demon or a serial killer or something crazy or blah blah blah. Like, there's the serial killer going around killing people, blah blah blah, etc. etc. I also want to say I saw this. I made this list before Smile 2 came out, so if you want, you can just consider that an honorable mention because honestly, that was pretty great too, but it wouldn't go in my top 10 horror movies, I don't think. And it probably wouldn't even go in my top 10 horror movies from this, and it probably wouldn't go in my top 10 movies from this year, specifically because of other movies that are better, and specifically another horror movie that I will talk about another time. But anyway, the substance is amazing, and this is so different from any movie I've ever seen before. Basically, you can split yourself into a younger version of yourself and an older version of yourself, but there's a very specific way you have to do it. And, you have to switch off every 7 days, and we find out what happens if that's because but sorry about the train outside. I have the windows open because I'm trying to get a cross breeze. But there's a freaking train outside and it won't shut up. Anyway, back to the movie. It's pretty insane. But and the guy says the most important thing to remember is you are one. And some pretty crazy stuff happens in the movie. I don't really want to get into it until I do the actual spoiler review, because that's going to be a lot. I think for now, I'm just gonna say it's my second favorite horror movie, and going in, just expect the unexpected, okay? Just expect the unexpected. 7. The Wild Robot. So, moving on from, horror movies and stuff like that, this is a DreamWorks movie, and it's a pretty incredible one. And when I first saw the trailers and there was no dialogue in them, I thought that was amazing, and I was like, oh my god, if this movie has no dialogue, that would be amazing. And then the trailers came out with dialogue, and I was like, I don't know about that one. But then I decided to see it anyway, and oh my god, am I glad I did. It was amazing, and it made me have like this mix of emotions. Like, it was so intense, and I loved it so much. It's beautiful, first of all. The animation is amazing. The story is amazing. Supposedly, it's based on a book, and it makes me want to actually read the book now. But it was pretty freaking awesome. It was just like so incredible, just the story and the characters and like everything that happens. I don't know. There wasn't a moment that I was bored or that I didn't like it or that I thought I would be better off doing something else. I just loved every minute of this movie, and I was so captivated, and I've seen it like 3 times now. Or maybe four, actually. I've seen movies like a lot less times, and the only reason for that is because they leave so quick now. Like, within a couple weeks, movies will be gone that only came out like 2 weeks ago, and then they're gone in the blink of an eye. Like, there have been times when I've almost missed movies, and I had to be like, oh my god, I have to rush out to a movie tonight because it's not going to be back, it's not going to be still in theaters tomorrow. It was insane. Anyway, number 7, Babes. So I saw this one on a streaming service. Basically, these two ladies are best friends. One of them gets pregnant, and then there's a whole thing about what's happening while she's pregnant and all the struggles they go through supporting each other. I mean, there's not really much to say about that one. That's basically the whole plot. It's not like very complicated. It's just a really fun movie about these two best friends supporting each other and being awesome, and that's about it. Number 5, If. Sorry for that pause there, but I just had to make sure I was counting down the right numbers on my list. But anyway, If stands for imaginary friend, but also what if, as Blue says. By the way, I have a Blue plush, but he's in my room, and also you can't see him because the camera is broken. But, I did love this movie. It was one of the ones that we saw for my birthday. We saw If, and we also saw Sting, and I kept talking about getting the blue plush, like, I wouldn't shut up about it, and I couldn't afford it at the time, but I kept going on about it, and my mom eventually was just like, "Okay," and she was doing this thing where she was doing 30 days for my birthday. So, like, one thing every day for 30 days, it was a 30-day countdown. And she was like coming up with these things. My, like, it, it, it does suck that my mom was away, but like, she made it up to me in so many different ways. And it was honestly just so incredible. And I think she spent like she probably spent a lot more than she intended to spend on this birthday, but I also spent like $400 out of my own pocket. Like, I had money that I had saved for my birthday that I used to pay for things for my birthday because there were some things that I wanted that I didn't know if she would be able to afford or if she would be able to do for me. So I was just like, took the initiative and saved some of my own money. But this was a pretty freaking awesome movie, and I love it. It's basically about these imaginary friends and this little girl who's trying to save them by like getting them a new kid. Basically, all these imaginary friends' kids grew up, and the ending is so freaking cute. And I just want to say, yes, I had an imaginary friend when I was a kid. I freaking needed one because of my home life. And my imaginary friend, I remember this very clearly. I was like 6 or 7 and I saw the Land Before Time movies and I loved them so much. I still love them. I still love them to this day. Anyway, my imaginary friend was Littlefoot from the Land Before Time movies because he was so freaking cute and I loved him so much. I even had like this fan fiction set that I was planning in my head, but I scrapped it later on because I thought it would be better off if it just stayed in my head, you know. Um, but basically, it was about Littlefoot and Captain Hook. Littlefoot and I were the good guys. Captain Hook was the bad guy, and there were a bunch of other characters thrown in here or there. Like there was one where we meet Crazy Frog and stuff. And you know how in the Crazy Frog videos, those robot guards are chasing him down like an Axel F and stuff. There was all those robots chasing him down. Yeah, we tried to save him from the robots. I don't know, just a bunch of dumb kid stuff that I would never actually put on paper because it's not really conducive to what I want my writing to look like as an adult. Like, I want to use my books to tackle serious subjects, not tell silly kid stories. Not that there's anything wrong with silly kid stories, but I mean, this movie basically proves that because it's a silly kid story and it's super fun and I loved it. I saw it a few times. Number 4, Afraid. So this is one where there's an evil AI, which I really love those movies. I loved Megan. I love other stuff like that. I always love when there's like an AI that starts off as nice and helpful and then it suddenly goes crazy or becomes self-aware or some shit like that. I don't know. It's just a genre of movie that I've always loved. And I love horror movies, and so, best of both worlds, I guess. Anyway, it was really good. I know a lot of people didn't like this movie, which I guess I can see why. I don't know. I really liked it. But, that makes sense they put so many different kinds of movies out because not everyone is going to like the same things. Some people like horror, some people like romance, some people like Joker, the second movie, which I won't never understand. But, Harley Quinn was in it, so I guess it was fine. She was good at least. I mean, she's the only reason I went to see the movie at all. Anyway, Afraid was really, really good. Number 3, the Garfield movie. Oh, I remember the live action Garfield movies from when I was a kid, and they were fun. I mean, they weren't like the best movies ever or anything. I mean, people hate on Alvin and the Chipmunks all the time, the live action movies, but I mean, I really like Alvin and the Chipmunks, the live action movies. My favorite is probably the second one with the Chipettes. And also Road Trip was really fun. I mean, I love them all, but I don't know. I don't know. People just seem to hate on the live action versions of stuff. Maybe because they're really nostalgic about the properties that they grew up with, but I never really watched Alvin and the Chipmunks when I was a kid. We probably saw a couple episodes here or there, but like I don't remember it being a big serious part of my childhood. Now, if they made something like Recess in live action, I'd probably have some serious opinions about that. But because I didn't grow up with stuff like Garfield or Alvin and the Chipmunks or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I don't really have any kind of nostalgic connection to that. So when I watched live action movies, I was like, this is really good. Uh, I mean, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles doesn't have the greatest, like, CGI or whatever, but it was in the 2000s, so but this one is really good, and not just because it's animated, but just because I like the plot. It's pretty fun. Like, his dad returns, Garfield's dad returns, and there's that whole thing where he thinks his dad just gave up on him and abandoned him, and then he realizes, oh, wait, that's not actually the case. I never heard my dad's side of the story. He actually does care. And, then the story has a really heartwarming ending because, of course, it does and there's the second act breakup, and then, everyone has to make up and you have to rush in to save your dad from the villain, etc., etc. And there's also kind of a cute relationship between Odie and Garfield, which is weird to say because in this movie, Odie is basically Garfield's slave, but they do have a cute friendship. Just watch the movie, you'll see what I mean. There's also this bull that lost his wife, they got separated, so Garfield and the rest are trying to like get them back together. So, I mean, they're just doing it for their own selfish benefit, but they actually want to help. So anyway, they end up doing that, and they end up getting the cow, and they end up getting the bull and his cow wife back together, and it's really sweet because they're an adorable couple. I'm just a sucker for love. Number two, Jackpot. Okay, this is another one that I only saw on streaming services. I did not see this in theaters because, as far as I know, it didn't come out in theaters. It only came out on streaming services. I don't know. I think that might be the reason why movies are leaving theaters like so quickly. No one's seeing them because everyone is seeing whatever is on streaming services. That's become the purpose of streaming services have changed so much since COVID. It's insane. I'm actually kind of worried that theaters are going to start shutting down because they're not making enough money to bring in the people because people aren't coming there anymore. So, I might as well enjoy it while I can. Hopefully it won't happen, but I don't know. Kind of worried about it. But essentially, this is set in some future where if you win a jackpot, there is a hit on your head, and then if you can survive for 24 hours, then you get the money. And it's a lot of freaking money. So basically, you sign up with your fingerprints. So basically, how the main character signs up, spoilers coming ahead, by the way. Spoilers in three, two, one. So basically, the main character doesn't even want to enter this lottery, but she takes her best friend's jacket, I think, and the little entry thing is inside the best friend's jacket, and she accidentally touches it with her fingerprint, and so she's in, she wins, she's got a hit on her head, and also something really important to note about this movie is that they have this company where they will keep you safe until basically you just hire them and they will keep you safe until till the hit is off, till you're like done. And then there's all this insane hijinks as they like run away from everyone. Everyone is trying to kill this one woman because whoever kills her gets the money. Whoever kills her gets the money. So yeah, it's just a bunch of insane hijinks of them running around and trying to, you know, not die. Number one, Immaculate. Like I said, these are in no particular order. This was not the best horror movie I've seen this year. That would be The Substance. But This was also a pretty good movie. I mean, there were so many horror movies that I saw this year that I could literally make a top 12 movies that I've seen this year of just horror movies. That's how many horror movies I've seen this year. But holy crap. And there are more coming out even. Like, there's literally one coming out on Friday that I'm really looking forward to called Heretic, which is like, a Christian-based horror movie, I guess. But anyway, back to this one because it's also based around religion. Essentially, this Christian woman gets pregnant with what they're calling a miracle baby or whatever because she's in the church and she's like a nun, I guess. And keep in mind, I might mess up a plot point here or there, just because it's been a while since I've seen these movies. Like, like, I mean, I did just see The Wild Robot the other day, and, but for most of the movies, it's been a while since I've seen them, so if I mess up a plot point here or there, then, I will do a proper review later. Like, all these videos I'm planning to do first of all, a top 12 list of movies that I've seen in 2024, which is going to contain way more information on each movie and me describing plot points accurately and stuff. But also, I'm just planning to do a general review of each of these movies. But anyway, Immaculate basically involves her getting pregnant at the church, at the nunnery or whatever you want to call it. I don't really know. What is it called when you're a nun and you're in like a save space or savory say the fuck. Okay, anyway, doesn't matter. I don't know what it's called. I'm just gonna call it a nunnery. That sounds weird, but anyway, basically she gets pregnant and she's never had sex, so people are calling it the second coming of Christ or whatever. And I'm actually not going to give any spoilers away for this one because it's really good and I don't want to give it away. I mean, by good, I obviously mean terrifying, but yeah, it's really terrifying. Um, that's it. So, I will see all you guys in another video. I love each and every one of you guys. Please don't forget to always be yourself. You are valid. Don't forget to be good to yourself and to others, and I will see all you guys in the next video, which is going to be tomorrow. Goodbye.